Okay, so I'm trying to record my screen. Okay, today I'm gonna continue discussing about positive scripting, and I'm reading this article with you. It says, "Don't be afraid of sounding too upset. Words such as fantastic, great, marvelous are very positive words and can really inject some energy into a telephone conversation. They help the advisor to sound upbeat. The advisor here is the agent and interested in helping the customer," says Melanie, another one of our readers. Right, for instance, there's an example. "Could I please take your telephone number, Mrs. Jones?" And then the response, "I can give you my mobile phone number. My mobile number. Is that okay?" That would be fantastic. Thanks. You see how the word fantastic is highlighted? That's one of the positive words we can use for positive scripting. So, was the advisor too enthusiastic? Melanie certainly does this so, stating such positive words bring great energy to a call. And yes, okay, they may be over the top, but you'll never hear a customer complain about the agent was too positive or upbeat. And then there are three bonus words they provided on this blog: feel, felt, and found. These three good words may not have made our top 25 words list as single options, but they work well together. They are feel, felt, and found. These words are often used together in the contact center, as Chris Wood, a reader of ours, says. Using these words works well in sales scripts, but they can be used in a variety of ways. For example, an advisor can put these words together like so: "Mr. Smith, I understand how you feel. Many of our happiest customers felt the same way. However, what they found is," something like that. Or when dealing with a difficult or angry customer, an advisor could use these positive words to turn a problem into a solution. Like so: "Mr. Smith, I can see why you feel like that. Something similar has happened to me before, and I felt the same way. What is found, and I hope this will be the same for you." See? See how the script goes? Give me 1 minute. Let me turn that off. "I completely understand how you feel. A couple of our customers have felt the same. However, what they have found is," then you just need to add the situation. Together, these words work well in creating positive phrases. Watch this video when Sandra Townsend talks about the importance of being conscious about the words you say to the customer. Let's watch.
Our words, and actually this is a really fascinating area I'm still learning a great deal about, but I definitely want to share with you what I know. Now, some of this stuff is going to be common sense, so I kind of make an apology for that, but I think sometimes we forget. One of the things I found out is the appropriateness for the moment. So certainly people say that they much prefer informal. They prefer informal to formal, but actually if you've got a bit of bad news, more formal does not work. You need to revert back to a more formal tone because actually when you're informal and you have something to say that the customer might not like, it makes it even worse. And that's been proven through a book that is actually shown on this slide, that actually it makes it much worse if you continue with this kind of chilled out type approach. It doesn't work there. And I put two words in here, any and some. And then again, I definitely find myself doing this, and I hadn't really thought about the repercussions. But in actual fact, some science undertaken by some linguists that actually work in Loughborough University found that particularly in the medical profession and also in retail, interestingly, that if someone asks if there's anything else they can do for them, that is more negative than if you said something like, is there something else I can help you with? Who knew? But actually, when they undertook particular scientific trials, they found that the word some was far more positive than the word any. And the other thing which I've thought about since is if you're actually unable to help the customer in a way that they think is appropriate, if you have to ask the question, is there anything else I can help you with, that really doesn't go down very well, because ultimately the perception is, what do you mean anything else you can help me with? You didn't help me with the thing that you said you were going to help me with in the first place. So if you think about something else I could help you with, that might be a more positive outcome. Again,
and it's a bit like that word I apologise for any inconvenience this may have caused, which is, sort of any, may have caused, I've just told you the problem, you have caused it, and it's not any, it's for the inconvenience.
That's right. And I think, and interestingly, yesterday I was talking about this particular piece of science, and I found myself, it's almost me, don't think about the elephant in the room. It's like, oh, okay, so don't say the word any, and then I used it so many times. But if there's a way of weaning yourself off some of that language and just being more conscious, I guess, and just seeing whether or not it gets you better rapport, I think it's worth a test. Another word that comes out from this particular book is the word willing. And this is all to do with getting people to believe and to perceive that you're putting the control with them in making their decision. And what that basically means is that rather than saying, do you think you could, if you say, if you're willing to do something, apparently that changes the emphasis, and people do respond far more positively to that than if they would using any other phrase. It kind of suggests that there's a reciprocation, there's some kind of two-way conversation, and it's a connected kind of agreement. So I think that's quite interesting too. Again, things you might want to think about trialing. The other 2 points I have in the slide are really key. Having been a marketeer for about 17 years, and the need to use consistent language is really so important. So there will be, as part of your brand, a series of phrases, a series of words that you are highly likely to use. And I think as long as there is a understanding and they're simple, understandable terms, I think it's right that they're weaved into all communication. Again, I'm not sure if that's a wow factor, but I certainly think it's consistency that people expect. And the final thing is around someone's own style. Now, I've certainly been on the receiving end of communication where over time, this isn't email communication, this isn't a web chat, but over time, the person I've been communicating with, I could sense that after a couple of emails, they started to bring their own style in, rather than the corporate speak, and using just really simple language, which I found far more comfortable. And actually, I gave them feedback to say, your style over these windows of time has changed, and you might want to think about whether that's okay with where you work, because actually I find it far easier, I find it much easier to understand and relate to you as another human being. So some other things I just want to add in on this particular slide as well is the order of the information that you give. And again, this does come down to the power of language, because, again, from this particular book, it makes the recommendation that if you have bad news, you should give it up front. So if in chat or even in email, being transparent and honest and giving the bad news first and then the good news makes it far more accessible for the customer. Because otherwise, if you think about it, you give the good news and then they think, oh, here we go, it's coming. And then you give the bad news and then you close the email. The actual customer is left with the bad feeling. And again, from behavioral science, it says that the peak state should be a good feeling that people are left with. So again, going with the bad news first, and then talking about the good news or how you can help or how you can work together to resolve it is far, far more effective. There's certainly something in the use of language that gives people the impression that you are taking control of the situation for the customer. And again, you'll need to check in with the type of language that the customer is using. You know, what emotion are they expressing in their choice of language? So actually, if they are really angry, using particular language to empathize with that customer, to bring them down a bit from that feeling, could be hugely powerful.
All right. I like this video. So there you go. We have a video within a video. I like that book, The Science Talks, The Science of Language. Is that what it says? Let me look for that book. Okay, so I don't wanna, make this video a little longer. But yeah, let me just close this. And again, this is si Mariang Englishera. See you on the next recording or next vlog. Turn this off.